Thanks, bro.
What's good? What's good? What's goody?
What's goody?
Nothing, mate.
What's
Chilling.
googie?
Straight after the long weekends. Just Tuesday, just living it, drinking at Tecate.
It's
Taco
Tuesday
Tuesday.
today.
It's Tecate Tuesday.
Tacos? Tecate?
Soon. Yeah. A couple cauliflower bangers.
Ah, are you actually going to go?
Fuck yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I get down at the, shout outs to Lord Gladstone.
Yeah, they're great tacos.
We have eaten a lot of food here recently.
A lot. It's
Quite a
great food. The
substantial
chef's a legend. I just can't eat that pub food every day.
You
I
know,
don't think anyone can or should.
probably a lot to do with the current state of your asshole
Yeah, it's,
right now.
that's not
Just-
great. Things aren't great. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that, Lee.
Oh, I am.
This is the Ill-Equipped podcast, and we're with Lee, the owner, director, originator of Ill-Equipped. What's up, bro?
I've never been introduced before, so that's...
Yeah, you needed to be introduced. This is what we're doing. This is a little podcast for everyone listening. Is we're gonna delve into a little bit of where Lee comes from and how Ill-Equipped started, and
Yep, the story behind. Just something for people to go back to.
yeah, that's it. And like how you met Hazy, and you know how I come into it a little bit too. And
Yep.
I reckon that's how we'll get down today.
Yeah. Yeah, sick. Sounds good. If I had to give it like a rough timeline, I'd say Ill-Equipped's been around for... It's somewhere in the 6 to 7 year range, officially, since it was like registered first as a business and all that jazz. It was definitely an idea prior to that had just been discussed amongst like, you know, our friend group. Was painting a lot of graffiti at the time, so it was something that we wanted an outlet that would give us a creative means and just, you know, create a platform that we could showcase our work. That being, you know, me and my friends, shout out in particular Sean, still one of the homies that we work with all the time. Actually painted the wall out the back of the Gladstone the other week.
Yes, that was sick.
It's got the skateboard deck downstairs, being raffled off for the RFS at the moment for the bushfires. So
A pretty incredible artist he is, actually. So,
yeah, goes by Muke One. Yeah, he was a very, very fundamental character and still is today, just in, I guess, the creative direction of everything that we do, and just, you know, having those grassroots graffiti flavors.
Yeah, because that's what it seems like to me. As soon as the first time I was ever introduced to Ill-Equipped, I was like, yeah, this is just a graph streetwear sort of label that, you know, dabbles in hip hop and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But where did the graffiti stuff come from? Because like where you grew up in West Sydney,
Yep.
that was obviously a pretty, you know, heavy part of you being a teenager and
Yeah.
living out there. Big culture and writing and
Yeah.
painting trains and all that type of stuff is
All that
out
kind
there.
of jazz.
you know?
Yeah. Allegedly.
Yeah, I don't know if it actually is. I've heard it's out there out that way.
I've heard similar things. Yeah, no, it is. I think Sydney's got it and it has for quite a long time. It's always had like a really strong graffiti culture. Yeah, it was just something that I used to catch the train to school. So I grew up around like the Liverpool area and went to high school out in Campbelltown. It's kind of where I made most of my friends out that way, mostly through the skate park. That was kind of like my introduction to that. I blame rap music completely. I blame everything on rap music. Yeah, no, it kind of began with just, catching the train, having a friend that got into it, thinking it was cool. It was the same kind of thing as like, I guess, skateboarding or BMX or any of those things. Those people kind of dip into it as kids, and then some people stick with it, like one or two, and then 99% of people just move on and actually grow up. And I've stayed stuck in that to this day.
But you've grown up. You've grown up with it. You know, you're a switched on bloke. You know,
Definitely gotten hairier.
You've definitely gotten hairier.
Losing hair in the wrong places, growing it in even wronger places. But yeah.
Yeah,
so
we need that For Him sponsorship.
Yeah, straight up, dude.
Hazy
Hit me
needs
with
to
the
work on that.
decided if it migrates to the back, if I hit the back of the shoulders, dude, that's where I'm literally drawing the line.
Okay, an actual line.
Yeah, that would be a definitive line.
Yeah, let's go. But yeah, it's 6 to 7 years, man. That's quite a long time. Like, you know, 3 more years and you've done 10, if my maths is correct. I don't
Yeah, quick maths.
double check that.
Yeah.
But what's
We might have to phone a friend on that one.
what's the last 6-7 years look like? Like from the start to now. Like I know that's a long time, but
Yeah.
you know, how busy were you at the start with it? Were you doing it every single day? Were you getting home from school working on Ill-Equipped or?
I'd like to think I was that young when I started it, but I'm 29 now, so yeah, it would have been, you know, sort of early mid 20s when it was all kicking off. I mean, the name itself kind of summarizes like where it all began, like just being ill prepared for all of this shit, for anything that we do, not having the necessary skills, but just pursuing it anyway and going for it. So the name itself just began with like literally having a list of names, being like, all right, we want to start something. What's it going to be? Wrote about 50 names out and just kind of like worked my way through it. It originally had, I spelled it with a K at first.
Oh,
I've still
really?
got actually sketchbooks at home. I'll have to bring them in and show you boys. We should leave them here actually.
Yeah, definitely.
Just with like the original tags, and
That's cool.
used to go around and actually get like food label stickers and stuff like that, and like write it on there before we ever had any of the original stickers or
Oh, okay, cool.
any of the merchandise. So even those baby steps of like actually getting something physically printed or getting a lighter produced or a t-shirt made or any of that, and being like, fuck, this is a real thing. Like, it's still, I guess anything creatively, you feel like a phony with it for like a really long time until other people start seeing it and then they just see it as a thing. So had no graphic design skill at the time, so that was something. I did a few like short courses in that, just a couple like community college type things. Later down the track, went and studied graphic design at Design Centre in Enmore.
Cool.
Just to kind of polish that a bit more, just did a Cert 4, and then everything since then just been YouTube and figuring it out. But it began with, mostly graphics, and then it's been very on and off. I say 6 or 7 years. It hasn't been a solid.
Yeah, you haven't been on it every single day for 6 or 7
definitely
years.
not.
But I
there's
mean,
been
that's
periods
that's
where
when the
it's been-
journey started. Like, that's when you were like, all right, I'm going to do this. Whether I finish tomorrow or like keep it going for 10 years. Like, you know, you knew you wanted to start something, and you've obviously stuck with it, man.
Yeah, and it's taken on a few forms, and I guess where it is now, like with, you know, being so hip hop focused, that began organically too. It was just through having friends that were making music and then wanting to support that, the same as, you know, the visual side of stuff. And then, you know, particularly in this last 12 months since, you know, really connecting with yourself and Hazy and making, you know, this event series of Two Up and combining all our skills together, and, you know, you boys being all across the audio and the, you know, the lighting and all that stuff that I have no knowledge in at all, and then, you know, meshing it in with, I guess, decorating the space and having the clothing to match it and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, it's very cool. Like, that's the way I sort of see it at the moment. Like, well, one of the ways I look at it is like, there's what you bring to it, which you've always brought to it. The stuff that Hazy's, you know, brought to it in the last 12 months plus or whatever. It's like, it's just a really good, like, all-rounded sort of crew that we have, you know. There's always like someone taking care of one sort of thing, you know. It's never all of us sort of just like three people doing one thing, you know. Like we are, but it's like everyone's doing little different bits, like you said. Like, we know the audio, or Hazy knows the audio like back to front, because that's what he's done since he was born. And you're the same. Like, you know, all the artists, and you know how to present a show and stuff like that. Like, it's
allegedly.
Allegedly.
That's
You're gonna have to stop
so
saying that. You know what you're doing.
Another ill-equipped moment. I mean, the hosting's like a whole other thing, and something I'm still definitely finding my feet in, and even this format of, you know, going down the path of interviewing people.
Yeah.
I think all I'm relying on in that is just to be authentic and just to have genuine intentions to like want to talk to people and have interesting conversations, and probably going to say some ridiculous shit along the way. But yeah, I think just trying to channel into like your most authentic self and letting that kind of shine, and then trying to bring that out of people. And that's what I'm trying to do with the hosting as well. And it's one of those things is, you know, at first I was like, fuck, who can we get to host? And then the more people kind of close to it that I was talking to, because it began with Barbecue Rap, which was a series that we did a few years ago at my old place in Surrey Hills there, which was literally just a backyard event. You boys came and played the first one.
It was awesome.
Really special event. We're bringing that back early this year as well. It's slightly different, but same kind of format of just like a really intimate gig showcasing art and the talent of you know, local musicians in a format that people don't really digest hip hop a lot in. You know, normally it's in like a sweaty dark room where it's like, you know, it's fun and it's hype, but you're kind of losing a bit of the lyrical content of what people are saying. And you know, hip hop is that, you know, there's so many layered messages that some artists have. So I feel really passionately about that format of that real stripped back, you know, people sitting, just listening, and like the, you know, the storytelling side of things. So I hosted those to begin, and that was the first time I'd ever done anything like that, other than maybe doing like a forced speech in like primary school or
Yeah, right, true.
one of those like horrendous moments. I grew up going to like, I never know whether to say Catholic or to whatever, just like a Christian
A religious school.
Religious.
Yeah, I'm religious as fuck, baby.
Yeah, you seem really
I
religious,
believe.
dude.
Um,
Shout out
shout out Jesus.
Jesus? Yeah, Jesus.
Shout out all the gods.
Shout out the book.
Shout out whatever you believe, man. But
I agree.
yeah, so I went through that experience, that life experience of all that. So yeah, there was a few prayers and hymns that had to get read out along the way.
That all added to the host you are today, is that right?
Thank God for that.
That's on the resume, dude. That's
The
all I've got.
Reverend Lee.
Yeah, preach.
Preach. Church. Tabernacle. I had to do that.
You can't say
We need that as a sample, actually.
I'm
Let's
going
cue
to have to
one
cut
up.
that out. We're going
Yeah.
to get striked for that, eh?
Oh, really?
Yeah, probably.
Striked isn't a word, is it?
I don't know. I
Are
feel
we
like
going to
we're
be
get struck for a lot of
we're going
things.
to be struck for that? Would you say
We can
struck
only
or
hope.
striked? We're not here to talk about that anyway.
But yeah, so I guess that's a rough, I guess, look at where it's at now. And then, you know, this place here that we're sitting in now, it's only really come about in the last couple of months. Massive shout out to the Lord Gladstone and to those boys for giving us the
Huge
space
shout
and the
out.
chance to do this.
Legends, man.
Absolute legends.
And key figures in the whole culture of what's happening in Sydney with hip hop and
So many different scenes.
so many different scenes coming together. But, you know, like there's definitely a strong hip hop presence here
Mm-hmm.
with, you know, the other boys having studios here and whatnot too.
Yep.
It's
And just
Yeah.
genuine people, you know.
genuine people, of course. But it's huge for the Lord Gladstone to invest in people like us and the other boys who are up here, like Triple One and Nookie and,
Yep.
you know, people who are doing stuff.
Those that came before, I know one day used to have an office here
Yeah,
a few
that's
years
right,
back as
yeah.
well. So there's a lot of history in these walls, and
Yeah.
even outside of the hip hop scene, it's just it's a cultural hub, and yeah, pretty stoked to have the chance to carry the flame for this place for a little while as well, and
Yeah.
bring our flavour to it. So yeah, I think where it's at now, and you know everything that we're kind of talking about as far as where we want to take the podcast and having the ability to record artists here and all that tied in with the events, like I'm really excited about where this can go. And the bigger we build this platform, the more of an opportunity people have to showcase their stuff as well. And I think that's part of the beauty of it. And everyone involved in this, you know, whether it's us or the Gladstone or artists, you know, I think the biggest thing that people are noticing these days is like one person getting on doesn't detract from anyone else's success. And I feel like the scene is going through that in a massive way at the moment. It's like if someone gets put on, it literally just brings more light to the entire scene because people are like, oh, fuck, I actually like how this sounds.
Yeah.
It's not... Forever, I feel like Australian hip-hop, quote unquote, has had a certain stigma about it, and people believe there's a certain sound and a certain face that goes with it, and all that has changed so much in the last couple of years, and it's like so many different voices are getting a chance to do their thing. So
Yeah.
us doing our thing will help them doing their thing will help us, and it's just all part of it's all part of the mesh.
It's so sick, man, because even since the very first tour up that you and Hazy put together, like it's always been about supporting the proper like underground of who's around here in Sydney at the moment, you
Yeah.
know? It's like obviously it'd be amazing to have the biggest acts on it and stuff, but
Yeah.
shows like Two Up, like it's in an incredible small space, which is here at the Gladstone, the good space. It's it just feels like you're in someone's house, like at a house party or something. The way it's set up and
Yep.
the way you do the graph on the walls and all the signage and have the little store going in the other room and stuff like that, like it's such an incredible setup for like underground artists who a lot of them had never played properly before.
Yeah.
You know, they've done backyard parties, or like they've played at the local RSO and their mate put a hip hop show on or
Yeah.
something. But to play such a it's like a culture forward sort of show. You know,
Yeah.
it's like come and network, come and meet the people
Yeah.
who's your neighbors. You know, like who other people who are making hip hop. It's pretty dope, man. And I think Ill-Equipped definitely stands for a lot of the underground in Sydney at the moment.
I think, like having bigger names on the bill within the local scene is always like it's dope to meet, you know, cool people that are pursuing their passion hard enough that like they've gotten to a point that, you know, you're a fan of their stuff. And you know, that in itself is amazing to be able to work with people like that. But then, like you're saying, to work with, you know, local artists that might not have had the chance or might have not even thought they would get the chance to be on a bill with this person.
Yeah.
You know, it's like all are equal who perform. Everyone's got the same guidelines. You know, 2 songs often blows over to 3.
Often.
2 up. Plus, I mean, I guess that's probably the up part of 2 up. But
That's what it is, right? 2 up.
even at the showcase on Sunday, we blew over to 3 for a couple artists. But
Yeah, we'll be getting into that too.
yeah, we'll touch on that. But yeah, I think that's part of it. And I mean, it was a similar thing with barbecue rap, you know, just having that idea of, you know, wanting to work with, and not even just the up and comers. I think there's something to be said as well for, like, there's an older generation that exists within the hip hop scene that a lot of the new fans who have just come into it, because like the views and the listens and everything that are happening these days are unprecedented for local artists, you know. But yeah, some of the older heads as well that, you know, might not be as active on the scene, but are like fucking incredible. And like the reason that we're so passionate about it as well, you know, like quick shout outs to like just like you likes like Dielectrics, Joe New,
Yeah, okay.
the whole Big Village roster. Like
Yeah.
they're not that, I mean, they're only a few years older than us, like in every capacity. Do you know what I mean? They might only be, some of them are probably our age as well, but
Yeah.
kind of, I guess the generation before what is taking place now. And a lot of those guys are still active and still showing, doing gigs and all that kind of stuff as well. But to have a format where there's so many artists and you can have someone it might be their first show, someone who's like seasoned and who's actually pulling the crowd that night, and then to also have some older heads that might not be playing shows as often and have them on and people are like, who the fuck
Yeah,
was
that's
that?
right.
Like,
This motherfucker knows how to get
Yeah.
down. You didn't even know
Yeah.
who he was. Like,
yeah, exactly. And then there's that whole back catalogue that people can discover. So
yeah. That's wicked, man. That's really cool.
and it's just fun too. It's fun doing shit with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And everyone's on the same level. And I know there can be a lot of like ego in hip hop, but everyone that we've encountered through this has just been sick cunts. Like we haven't had issues with anyone. It's been like
All love, man. That's
All
that's what I feel every time I'm at a 2 Up show. It's just like, man, everyone's just keen to meet you, like have a talk, like whatever. I don't know. It's a
Yeah.
good vibe, and it's really easy to just get along with everyone there.
yeah,
Plus the music's always dope. Like, you know,
yeah,
the artists really do bring it, man. Like it's always a hype show. Like even if they're doing some boom bap sort of stuff, like it'll, because it's such a close setting and
Yeah.
it really is like you're in someone's living room, man. It's
Yeah.
like pretty hard not to rage like when someone's rapping right in front of your
Yeah.
face. You know, it's pretty incredible.
yeah,
It's really dope. But
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, guys like Big Village and stuff, they held it down for the longest time.
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't really open scene for a long time either. You know, it wasn't really, you know, not no disrespect to anyone, but it wasn't really like they wouldn't really like open arms sort of let you into their scene and like I want to book you for a show and stuff like that. But I feel like now, especially locally in Sydney and stuff like that, the crews are really working with each other and really tight. And
yeah,
you know, even like the show that just happened on Sunday, this last Sunday past, like so many different
Such a
acts and
diverse
different
lineup, yeah.
people, and like it was pretty mind blowing, dude. I was just like,
Yeah.
I often don't really see shows like that. So
yeah, from all around the country too. I guess for context with people, so it was the Trust No One show at Crowbar in Leichhardt. So it was put on by No One Network out of Brisbane and Awful Things Club,
Yep.
promoters out of Sydney, and been doing a lot of really dope shows in the scene lately as well. And it was massive. I don't know if you can pull the lineup up just off the top of the head. It was like Alex Jones, Nerve, Shadow, ECB, Scrub, Talakai, killed it. And then we had the chance. The boys hit us up a bit over a week ago as well, you know, and they said they really want to get some local artists on. And what could we recommend? And we came up with the idea to do a little online rap competition and put that out there. And Nerve provided a beat, which was absolute fire, and we threw it up on the SoundCloud.
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 SoundCloud. On the SoundCloud. And that's just how I say it. I'm just going to run with that.
Run it. That sounds sick.
Run it up.
I wouldn't have stopped you. Like it sounded cool.
Fucked myself up then.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it went really well. I actually haven't checked the downloads on the beat itself, but I think we had over 30 submissions for it, and
There was a lot of dope ones.
everyone was dope. There
Yeah.
was no, you kind of, at least I was expecting there'd be a couple that would come in and you'd be kind of like, okay, like dope, you know, obviously you know, really early on in rapping and putting their stuff out, but like everyone that came in was like in consideration for it. And yeah, as we said on our stories the other day as well, you know, we're gonna dip through that and, you know, use that to book the next couple 2-ups in as well and get some of those real grassroots guys on board. But the response was amazing. We had to narrow it down to 4. We ended up getting 5 on. We squeezed one extra
Shout out
time slot,
Motherland.
much to the dismay of the sound guy on the day, who was like, "You guys are half an hour over."
He was frothing.
He wasn't happy.
Lucky Chippy and I are well veteraned that stuff. We just had a good time.
You just look at him straight in the eyes and say, Dave, go outside and have a durry. He's going to be here in a second.
BRB.
4
Okay,
minutes.
no worries.
No worries.
And,
20 minutes later, he's still not there.
I looked at the videos of like just on Instagram and stuff of the 2-up thing. And me and you are just smiling the whole time, Chippy. We're just like jumping around.
Brother, we just have
We're
so much
having-
fun together, man. Like, it's no
having fun,
surprise.
and I'm glad because there was a lot of stress going on there, and it looked like we were having a good time. So looking back at that,
I was starting to
Oh,
get...
at the gig on Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You guys were holding it down.
I was starting to get pretty lit by that point, too. I'd had multiple large glasses of bourbon at my house before I even went there. And like, yeah.
But
It
that's
was
what the
sick,
2-up
though.
gigs are about.
Absolutely, they
You
are,
know,
man.
it's
It's just a
good.
good time, dude. That's all it should be.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
Awesome,
we're
awesome.
showcasing, man. That's what it is. It's a showcase of local talent.
Yeah.
2 songs, get up, do your thing.
Yep.
You know, clap the next person on. Like,
Exactly.
it's just a really positive thing, dude. Like,
Exactly.
I felt like that's what it was like the other day too, when we were at this gig. Like,
Yeah, it felt like a 2-up. It kind of had that.
it definitely
managed
had
to,
it.
like-
You know, it felt fun. Like, it had that bit.
Yeah.
The whole show was dope, man. They put on such a sick show, but
Yep.
it was really, really cool to have the opportunity from them to, you know, they're all from Brisbane. Like, no one networks from Brisbane, you know. So
Yeah.
for them to come down and be like, look, can you put on something that showcases like who's actually around where we're coming into, like, massive
Yeah.
respect to them for that,
Yeah.
man. That's really cool, and that's an amazing way to just spread what they're doing as well. Like,
Yep.
they know what they're doing. Those
Shout out
guys,
to
man.
those dudes. Yeah.
They're awesome.
I
yeah.
honestly don't think that would have happened a couple of years ago.
Nah, no way.
Well, even when I first connected with Golly, who runs No One, he's like the
Such a legend. that
face
dude,
behind
bro.
the face behind the cam. So he does a lot of video and photography work as well. But he's the main dude steering the ship over there. And he literally, they were in town sometime last year. I can't remember when exactly it was for Nerve's first tour, and just hit us up, slid in the DMs. So it was like, yo, we're in Sydney. You guys are from Sydney. Like, come through if you want to come past the Airbnb. We'll link up and whatever. And I was with Crispy. Shout out Crispy, the homie. And yeah, he was linking up with. He knew a few of the boys anyway. I feel like he just knows everyone. Anyway, he's just that kind
He
of
does.
character.
He literally just knows
Just
every
the-
single person.
He's here, there, and everywhere.
He's the doorman of Sydney.
He's Sydney's doorman.
Shout out Crispy.
And yeah, we just rolled up, and it was just all love from the start, man. It was really nice. And then we went to the show the next day, and everything, and met a lot of people even just from that interaction. A few of the Bodega boys, and they're like affiliates. The guys from Altamonted, and all that kind of happened around the same time. And there's just so many crews that are doing it, and like you were saying, you know, feels like a few years ago that might not have happened, but I think just the fact that people are actively reaching out and wanting to connect with other crews, and it's, you know, this obviously there's always going to be a level of competition between artists, but everyone's just so much more interested in like collaborating and helping push the culture forward and pushing the scene forward and just growing everything. That, yeah, I know there isn't that starvation mentality.
It's also the music as well, I think, because it's so everyone's got different tastes, everyone's got different styles now. It's not like one style anymore.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
right.
And so like we're all keen to like hear each other's music and hang out and make connections. And the internet has done that too. We used to have people's phone numbers. Now you can just DM them.
Yeah.
See them at a party, whatever. Like everyone sees where you are. It's all changed, man. I feel like it's changing.
Yeah,
heaps
and
better.
it'll change again. Like, it'll continue to change, you know.
Yeah.
But I think that's why it's important to just, I don't know, stay on top of people at No One Network and what we're doing with Ill-Equip and what you're doing and stuff like that, because you guys are the ones who are engaged, man. You're the ones who are actually waking up and getting something done during the day, like, for that culture, you know.
Yeah.
You're not doing it for a selfish reason, like, oh, everyone's gonna see me, dude. Like, I own Ill-Equip, you know. You've never been like that, dude, and you never will. It's just like you're about it, man. It's very impressive, and I love that about you. That's why I love working with you and Hazy and doing the podcast and doing all this stuff. It's a passion project, man, and
Yep.
it's really important to have that, dude, because I reckon the second you try and start something and don't go for the genuine organic reasons,
Yeah.
you're gonna fail so quickly.
Yeah.
You know?
And I mean, of course, you want to be successful as well and be able to like actually make this your life entirely. Like
Of course.
I don't hide it from anyone. Like I've always held down, you know, a job whilst doing all this shit, and it's something that I'm working towards. You know, building it to a point where it is its own thing. You know, I wouldn't say all artists, but you know, a lot of artists have that same vision as well. You know, you got to build the business side of things as well, so it's actually sustainable because, you know,
For sure.
everyone gets older. A lot of people we know even already, you know, getting married, having kids, like other responsibilities come into it, and you know, that's definitely a factor, and you know, you need to grow and mature in those things that you do and the decisions that you make, but to always come back to doing it for the right reasons, like the purpose that you're doing it. If you stay connected with that and that's real, then I don't know. It's gonna make it enjoyable while you're doing it as well.
Absolutely. What would you say now to little Lee from 6-7 years ago, pre-Ill-Equip, thinking about
little
something,
whippersnapper.
little whippersnapper? What would you say like now to yourself? Would you be like, do that differently? Like, you know, take more time with that. Like, work harder. Or would you change anything? Like,
Fuck bitches, get money,
whoa.
baby. You know me? No,
Allegedly.
not at all. Fuck, I'm trying to think what I would have been at that time.
Hell yeah.
Shit, I live by that shit, die by that shit.
Whoa, that was so left field, bro. I love it.
It's so because it's so not you. as
Pussy
well.
boys
That's why
for
it's
life.
so
Pussy-
funny.
Shout out Pussy Boys International, man. Love you guys.
Worldwide,
Corporated.
global, galactic enterprises.
Space Force.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
bro, we're going
Please,
straight
let's
Trump
stop
on
this.
this. Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't know. I'd say, honestly, if I could go back to that age, I'd say travel more. Like I've
Yep.
traveled quite a bit throughout my 20s, but I'm rounding on the big 3-0 this year. And it's something that I know I'm going to continue to do, but I wish I'd done a bit more of it early on in my 20s. I kind of waited until kind of like mid to start seeing the world properly. So
Yeah.
that would be one piece of advice, because there's so much that comes with that. Like you boys know that even just from what you do as your day jobs, you know, like just constant travel and like new experiences and environments add so much value to your life in ways that are just, you can't even put you can't really quantify it sometimes. It's just kind of gets like subconsciously just like works its way into your psyche. So
Because once you've experienced that too, like once you've experienced a lot of different cultures and a lot of places, like, you know, you just feel like such a I don't know if better is the right word, but
Yeah.
you feel like you've grown,
and it just
you
makes
know.
you appreciate too. Like we're so lucky living where we do.
It's crazy how lucky we
And
are.
in the world that, like, the life that we've grown up in, like I grew up in Western Sydney, as you were saying, but like in, you know, in a suburban household, and just the friends and the people that I met through that have also had those similar life experiences. It's like that's its own, you know, that's beautiful right there. And it's like, you know, it was a relatively safe upbringing as well. Like there's a bit of bullshit that goes on as well, but like I feel for most people that live in Australia, like we live in a pretty safe place, and day by day, like I just find this place more and more beautiful as well. It's something that, and I think it's a lot of it has to do with seeing other parts of the world.
Yeah.
You know, and finding those equally beautiful as well. But then I don't know, you just kind of see like what used to be just the beach. Now it's like, holy shit, like what is this place?
Yeah, fully.
You
I mean,
love the
as-
Smoking weed probably has a lot to do with that as well.
Yeah.
So it's just appreciating the shit out of everything and everyone all the time.
Yeah, shout out to weed, man.
I don't need to give my past self that advice though, because I was already on that. So, yeah, I think that would be a key one. And 2 would just be, always be there for your homies, definitely.
You're a good friend, Lee.
Maybe work harder probably,
Yeah.
for sure.
Everyone could work harder.
Yeah, you always feel like you can do more. I guess that's
Because you probably can.
yeah,
Everyone can probably always do more.
Yeah.
You know,
no doubt, 100%. And
doing the most. Hazy.
I'd say fucking don't burn bridges and just be humble, cunt.
yeah,
Being humble's
You know,
a big
because
one.
you don't know, it's a long life.
yeah,
Don't burn any bridges.
yeah.
and just don't try to be a cool cunt all the time.
Yep.
Just be a sick cat.
Yeah, ego's a dangerous thing. But yeah, I don't know how much. I'll have to meditate on that. I'll come back to it if I think of any more advice. I'm a thinker. I like to marinate.
It's not an easy question.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking, because when is it time to reflect? Like, have you felt that in your journey with starting Ill-Equip, where you're like 3 years in, yesterday, whatever, where you're just like, I need to like look back at everything for a second and just be like, where have I come from? Where am I actually heading with this?
Yeah,
like,
no doubt. I think that's something that I've let slip in a few facets of my life, and it's something I've been doing a lot more recently. For reasons outside of business, just like some personal life shit that's just kind of caused me to pause and just take a bit of a toll on everything and kind of like, re-establish where I am in all facets of my life. And with that, and particularly moving into this space and really like actually taking a moment to be like looking around and being like, holy shit, this is a crazy opportunity. And, we've worked hard to create this opportunity and for this to become a thing. But also to just be like, wow, this is really special, and what are we going to do with it? So
that's awesome.
More and more I have been. It's really easy to just get caught up with like what's next to do as well. And like where you're at now feels like, it still feels like you're only just beginning. So I don't feel like we've done some amazing shit that people like would look at in awe or anything. Like I think it's just been, it's been a humble journey, and we're still on it, and we're just starting. I'm just a bunch of weak cunts trying to get it done.
Weak cunts is the term that we've kind of coined in the last few months there, and
sums us up
if
pretty
anyone
well.
wants to join,
hashtag weak cunts.
Hashtag weak cunts in any ill-equipped post or anything, like, it's not offensive to us. It's actually it can be offensive if you use it correctly,
Definitely,
but for us, it's like
No doubt.
more of an endearing little term that we use to each other, where it's like you could be doing the best thing for someone and they'll just be like, thanks, weak cunt. It's like, I really appreciate you, but
it's also a good way of
still a
calling your
weak
mates if they are being a weak cunt as well at the time.
It's like, I appreciate you, thank you for what you've done, but don't ever forget you're a weak cunt. So like, hashtag weak cunt. Make sure you jump on that.
That's
everyone.
Pussy Boys.
Pussy Boys.
We're the original.
We might have to release that a bit later. We're still working out a few kinks with that crew.
That's more of a gang.
That's more of a
Some
gang.
gang shit.
It's a heavy
Pussy Boys is
heavy
a
gang.
culture. I mean, no, mate, weak cunts is more of a culture, a lifestyle thing.
I feel like all these things tie back into like the ethos of Ill-Equip as well, and it's kind of being like, it's okay to be shit at something, but just give it a crack and keep trying to refine it and keep working with it and find some other people that are shit at stuff and try. Like, there's a really good video, and we'll have to try if we can put like a link to it somewhere. It's called The Gap by Ira Glass, and I think he was a radio presenter, and someone's just created some cool visuals that go over the top of it.
Yeah, right.
But essentially the concept, it's on Vimeo. It's so you know it's artsy.
Oh yeah.
Fuck with Vimeo.
If it's on Vimeo, it's artsy, right?
Getting that internet clout right there. I got an account.
Wow.
Funny
Free trial.
quick little segue on that. I was torn forever when first starting Ill-Equip what to put shit out on, whether it was on Vimeo or YouTube.
Oh yeah.
I was like, Vimeo is more artistic, man. But I was like, I feel like YouTube was like a sellout way of being like, I'm in this to make money. So I was putting shit on Vimeo, and I was like, no one's fucking seeing this. So I switched
6
over.
views.
But there'd be some old school, like, just little 16 bar type shit that's still kicking around on the Ill-Equip Vimeo. So if you ever find that, there's some gold out there.
Make sure hashtag weak cunt in
But
all the comments.
But yeah, the video, The Gap. So essentially, the what homie says is, when you get into something, your taste gets you into it, and like you see a thing or you hear music or whatever, and you're like, all right, I know that's dope. I might not know why or understand what makes it dope, but I just know it is. And then if you start to create and you want to do something like that to put it out as well, you try to make something, and it's like, graffiti's a perfect example. You see something like, that's fucking amazing, and then you're like, all right, and then you start, and then like what you're making compared to that, it just seems insurmountable to get to that point. And there's a gap that exists, between what your taste knows is good and what you can actually output. And the only way you close that gap is by doing the work. And each thing that you do, and if you just keep moving towards that, and it doesn't have to be a defined vision, it can just be like, if you're just putting in the work and if you're walking the right direction, you're going to get closer to it. And eventually, you can close that gap and you can catch up, and you actually start creating things that you're like, I actually am proud to put this out.
Yeah.
And I think too, to go back is to the question before, if there was a bit of advice, it would just be to keep putting things out there's so many things that we've made or been involved in that I've still sat on that are sitting on a hard drive somewhere, and I feel like musicians can relate to that a lot.
Yeah, true. Absolutely.
Even in the last 12 months with
Preach.
Swap stuff, and like there's an insane amount of content there that we will be releasing, and we're working our way through it. We're just kind of being caught up in the craziness of all these opportunities, and we're moving forward. So it's kind of hard to go back sometimes. And I know rappers get real funny about that. Like there might be stuff that we know our friends have made, and we're like, yeah, why did that never come out? That's like my favorite song from that person. And they're like, oh, it's some old shit, I don't want to drop it. But like, as like a fan of that music, if they drop that, people would fuck with that. They're not going to be like, yeah, his new shit's like, people would just be like, oh, he dropped some old shit, that's dope.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
It could be like that. In
That's
a dream scenario,
Yeah.
it'd be like everyone's like, yeah, he dropped some old shit.
I'm a
that's
very
dope.
whimsical character. I
Yeah,
live in
but
the-
look, don't get me wrong, that could happen. But also, I think as an artist, you just
Need to market
so
yourself correctly.
paranoid about what you put out, you
Yeah.
know. And it's like, if it's not exactly where you want to be putting out, and like, you may have made it, and it might be sitting there, and it
Yeah.
might be dope, but like, it
Yeah.
might not be the right thing to put out ever.
For sure.
So it's pretty hard to sit on stuff, but also you got to be strategic and you got to be super smart. Like it's like doing drops with clothes. It's the
Yeah.
same thing, man. You
Yeah.
can't just make up a bunch of shirts, print them,
Yeah.
not care about it, and then just drop it randomly. Like
Yeah.
people won't fuck with it,
For sure.
you know?
For sure. We've definitely put some stuff out that I'm like, we should drop that.
You put some good stuff out, man.
Try being a producer, but it's scary.
Yeah, try that. But yeah, when do you decide like to do a drop? Do you do it seasonally with Ill-Equip?
Yeah, I mean,
Clothing?
as a rough framework, what we had been doing for the last few was based around the events and just maintaining, at least doing something for each event to create something a bit more like limited and, collectible.
We did every gig.
Yeah, except for the
Every tour.
first, because we weren't
First
onto
one,
it. The
yeah.
first one we actually pulled together in about 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
We had a beer here one afternoon, and we're like, it was around this time last year actually, because it was early
January.
Feb that we.
Yeah, it was, and we just came up with the idea to do the Good Cunts EP launch.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Irrelevant
and trying
and
to
Mike
get-
Pompey.
Pompey.
Trying to get some other people that we didn't know to come watch us,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
how we were like, oh, we'll start it, get these acts to come and do 2 songs.
Mm-hmm.
What do we call it? We call it tour. Boom.
Yep.
And
'Cause
then
it
ran
was-
with
And that was, and full credit, that was Hazy's idea. That original format, which was inspired by something that you had seen in the States as well. I forget the name of the producer or the DJ, the Pass the Ox thing that you were talking about.
No,
Oh,
that's
like brownies and lemonade.
Yeah, no, the Pass the Ox is something that Chippy and I, Chippy got me onto, which is
Yeah,
Mr.
shout out
Karma.
shout out brownies and lemonade too. They
So it's a producer
EDM
thing.
sort of crew from LA, and they
That's
do
right,
like
actually,
they
yeah.
do the biggest like college shows and all types of stuff like that. I mean, their roster is just
Mm.
ridiculous. Like they have Flume like headline their shows and
Yeah,
stuff like
sick.
that.
But
But,
it was-
they're awesome people, and they've done shows in Sydney. But they have at their gigs they do Pass the Aux, so like the aux cable.
Yep.
So like young producers and artists and DJs or whatever come through, and they get an opportunity to play. What was it, a minute and a half? of
Something
their
like
track?
that, yeah. So they say that they're going to do Pass the Ox at their gig, and then they say the gig starts at 6, but we'll be there from 4:30, and then producers just line up, don't they, out
Yeah.
the front, and then you just have to, hopefully you get picked or whatever, you pay a minute and 30 or something if you beat, and
Yeah.
and Mr. Carmack kind of, I don't even think you win anything, is it? It's just a whole.
I know. There was some competitions where you got to open the show. You get like a half an hour set if you
Yeah,
win
sick.
past the aux.
Yeah.
But I think it eventually just ended up being like just a community thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
It's
was
like-
real loosely. That was the conversation we had. We were just talking about, because when we first came up with the idea, and me and Hazy linked late 2018, just as I was moving out of my old place. We're having a big going away party. I was dressed as Eminem,
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
steezy.
Wow.
Yeah,
We need- we
need
to-
We'll pull up some photos of
No,
that actually.
right now we'll edit the image
Shady.
of that into this
Aftermath.
right now.
He
Don't
did
worry.
so well, man. He looks
It's
so
so
great.
sick.
Thank you.
I don't
thank
think
you.
I've ever seen
I'll have
that.
to bring
It's
it back.
amazing.
It was your
Um,
farewell party.
Yeah, so that was our farewell party, and that was a real fun night, but it was chaos. And yeah, there was a point where Hazy and I can't remember if you pulled up. I know
No, it was
It's
it
a
was
bit of a
sexy
creep.
and irrelevant.
that.
I
And
don't think I was here. No.
yeah, anyway, we had a real quick conversation, and Hazy just said, I really want to do some stuff with you next year. Like, let's talk. And I was like, yeah, bro, just give me a buzz. Like, let's sort it out. I was going away. I went to India for 3 weeks straight after that, and then got back, and we linked up, had a beer here, and yeah, basically said, the boys really want to do an EP launch. They got this new group, and then I guess my thing's always been like, I've never wanted to just throw like a normal show. Like, I always wanted to have some kind of theme, and like barbecue rap fed into that as well. Just creating like a series or just having something a bit more. And that was, there's a lot of inspirations for that, but like one in particular out of Sydney, like Sketch the Rhyme. I don't know if you went to any of those shows.
I never went to any of them, but I remember hearing
man.
about all of that
Incredible.
stuff.
Like literally game show format, host, team leader from either side, blue team, red team. And it was like 3 MCs on either team. And then there'd be artist drawing. So they had games that were based around, it was all freestyle, like impromptu stuff. There was nothing kind of pre-written, and it was like either about having like a diss battle, or they'd play like celebrity heads, where someone would stand there with like an oversized hat and like the name of like Arnold Schwarzenegger on the top, right?
Yeah, okay, true.
And they're trying to rap, and depending on the crowd's reaction, everyone's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's real crowd involvement. If someone got to it and they're freestyling to try and figure out who's on their head, like just in like things that
insane. Yeah, you gotta see it.
amazing, dude. I like, yeah.
Sketch the Rhyme.
Sketch the Rhyme. Bring it back, please,
Are
boys.
they're not active any
I
longer?
haven't seen it for a little while.
Okay.
But it was they do it all over the country. It's amazing.
Are they still doing it?
I haven't seen them do one for ages, but they do.
Incredible, man. It's the kind of thing that I'm like, I wish this was documented on YouTube, and like just it was like what's the famous one from America, with Nick Cannon and like rap battle,
okay,
Cat Williams on it.
Wildin' Out.
Wildin' Out,
Yeah.
It's like that, but like involving like visual artists anyway. Anyway, and that's just one example of like a game they play, but had some of the biggest artists in the country doing it, and it's fucking awesome. So just seeing things like that and how special that was. I've always had this thing to want to have a theme behind a show. So I said that, and then we just brainstormed some stuff, and Hazy mentioned the Pass the Aux, and then blah, blah, blah. We got to the 2-up format, and yeah, it's given us a bit of a framework. And each show, I think the first show we had like 4 or 5 artists on, and then the next one we went like
Kobe D,
8.
Thraxy, Graveyard Boys, plus special guests, and we had Seasons and Good Cunts.
Yep.
What
Yeah.
a lineup.
And that was the very first one, and it was packed.
And pretty much every one of those artists we've worked with again post that as well.
Every artist we've had on tour.
Oh, you're looking at the poster right now.
Is raw homies now. Everyone that we
Yeah.
worked with. So that was.
And then the second one was a step up again.
Talakai Nookie, Free Souls, Lee Monroe. I can't see behind.
And then the third one was unprecedented. That was ridiculous. It was
Kid Curve, Tasman,
Isaac Pura,
Sophia, Casper,
Tasman Keith,
Elijah
Huge.
Yo, and the big boy Deadbeat.
But yeah, so it's grown, and
worked with over
it's
50 artists this year.
yeah, which is pretty insane. So that's one reason why too. We'd always spoken about doing like a podcast or something, and then after going through that and just meeting so many amazing people and just realizing how many stories there are out there to have with people, and
Fuck it, let's record it.
no one's. There's a few cats doing it. There's a few people, but we're like, I think the beautiful thing about this as well, and same as the music, it's like the more people that do this, it's just the more shit that gets put on. And I feel like because the podcast territory is like still relatively unfounded in this area, it's like, I don't know, there's no, I think there needs to be like no feeling of like a competition type thing for it. It's like, whoever wants to do it can do it. Same as like dropping a song,
Yeah, absolutely, man.
I guess that's what we're here to try and do. Talk some shit along the way, and
Yeah.
have a
Talking
few laughs,
shit.
talk some real shit. Like even the other day when we had so we're recording this one as like a bit of a, as a bit of a like a pre-intro type thing for people to go back to and
Letting the people know.
understand our story and what's why we're here doing this. But we've recorded a few episodes that we plan on dropping after that. A couple that we did over the weekend with No One Network and with ECB, and massive shout outs to the ECB boys.
Yeah. They're pretty incredible, man.
Dude,
Yeah.
even just
Special
meeting them
bunch of
before
dudes,
seeing
man.
them perform, and getting the chance to pick them up at the airport and just hang out with them for a bit, and just genuine dudes. And like, there's certain people when you talk and you look them in the eye and you have a conversation with them, it's like, just that authenticity. It's just there, and they just have that in bucket loads. Like they're not trying to be anything that they're not.
Absolutely
Because
not.
what
they're
they
real.
are-
They're real motherfuckers.
And what
man.
they are is like the dopest shit
Yeah.
ever. Like they fucking
It's
just
crazy
artists, man, with like
Crazy music,
Crazy
man.
stories.
Very artistic, bro. They got it going on, man. They're really dope.
and an amazing way to communicate as well. And yeah, they got some shit coming. So anyone that's not across ECB yet, next up, without a
Check
doubt.
them out.
Yeah, but yeah, so
Check me out.
Check me out.
yeah,
But anyway, look, we're coming to the end of this podcast. I don't know. Was there anything else you wanted to add, like just to let the people know? Because we're just trying to start off the discussion about who you are, who I am, who Hazy is,
Yeah.
what Ill-Equip is, and what
Who
we're
are-
trying to
who
do
are you,
here.
bro? That's the
That's
question.
not this podcast. My name's Peace, and brother of Hazy over here.
Yep.
And yeah, that's me. That's all you need to know about me for now.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
A man of
Oh, this is the start.
mysterious man.
This is
Very
the
mysterious,
start
bro.
of
It only
many.
gets more mysterious too. But is there anything else you want to add, man? Like, where do you find Ill-Equip? Where are we gonna, Instagram? You just at Ill-Equip.
Yeah, Instagram's
YouTube.
our most, kind of like active account for sure. Slide in the
Someone
DMs.
will respond to you eventually.
Yeah, someone will get back to you.
Someone get back
We
to
need
Typically within
any
24
interns
hours.
out there want to run the social media accounts? Holla. No.
Holla.
Yeah, so Instagram's definitely the best way. But yeah, we're across it all. So, in the last 12 months, another thing that happened is setting up Ill-Equip as its own artist account on Spotify and Apple. So we want to lean into that more this year as well and do some collaborations and use this space here to record some stuff and put it out and do some So Fresh mixtapes type things.
My God.
A couple little things here and there, but just
Skits mix.
Yeah, that's right. We've been over this.
69.
That sounds epic.
yeah. But yeah, man,
Let's
just
do
do
it.
some things. So you can find us on, if you type in Google, it's going to come with a lot of things. The website's the place where you get the merch, and we've got the blog on there, and we're actively updating that all the time as well. So SoundCloud, Spotify, all that jazz, but Instagram's the main
SoundCloud.
one.
SoundCloud.
Facebook as well. Not as you might take a little while to get a response on Facebook. We're not the most.
It's not typically
astute.
within 24 hours.
I've got the auto message set up, so you will get a response.
You'll be speaking
be a
to
little-
the
little
Ill-Equip
generic.
bot.
The bot, bro.
Ill-Equip.
2020, baby.
That's
We out
incredible.
here.
Ill-Equip ass.
But no, we're getting across that Instagram.
That's
Holla.
dope. That's dope. Well, everyone, you know where to find Lee and Hazy. You can just find them through the Ill-Equip Instagram page, and they really are active with it. It's really cool. But let's end it there, man. It was
Hell
dope
yeah.
to talk to you.
Cheers for the yarn.
I look forward to the next one. Thanks, Hazy, as well.
Yeah.
Legend.
Much love.
See you, everyone.